Hey.
All right, here we go. March 31st. We are, what that makes us at the end of the quarter officially.
Yeah.
Wow. How'd that happen? So it might be time to pull that old chart out that I pulled out in December and go through the steps again.
Oh geez.
The year end. I was thinking, yeah, we should probably do that quarterly, but I won't put you through that torture. Just if you want it, you can go torture yourself on your own. But yeah, Jim was talking about the issue. WordPress, it's like some sites seem to have it and some don't. And I haven't quite put my finger on what the difference is yet. But if you've got forms, it might actually be in the form tool. If you have forms on your website, you should always test those. And again, test them frequently, because stuff that is working today doesn't mean it's going to keep working tomorrow. If you have a website up and you have forms on it, you should be testing them all the time. And just send it to yourself. Just make sure it's coming through, because there's all kinds of things going on in the back scenes with WordPress of updates and auto updates and all that kind of stuff. And any little thing can break something. So it's important, your website, the goal of your website is to generate leads, right? That's what those forms are for. And if it's broken and you don't know about it, that's a pretty big hole in your bucket that you're carrying around. You're leaking water. But there are simple SMT plugins that you can put in there that kind of get around those issues. And I know I've put them in a bunch of sites, and Jim's put them in several of his sites as well. And the only thing is, if you're not familiar, like we were talking about tech guys, if you're not familiar with the terminology of like the SMTP, the ports and all that stuff, it can look like overwhelming. But it's not really that bad. I mean, it's like once you understand the names of things, and you don't even have to know what they mean. You just have to know what to plug in the hole.
Yeah, and then John, Teresa, before you hopped on, was asking if she has a new URL, how does she set up an email for that? So that was a predecessor question.
Sure. So if you've got new domains and you want email for them, there's a couple of different ways to do that. Usually when you buy a domain, you buy it at a registry. Some people have like Office 365. That's what they use for their email. So if that's the case, you can point the email for that domain over to your 365 and connect it there. I'm not the best one probably to answer the how to do that, because I've not worked with Office 365 myself. But I know Teresa has a guy that does that for her, and he's awesome. He just tells me what he needs. I point the stuff for him, and he connects the dots on the other end. And it's the same thing if you have, a third-party provider of email, like a lot of people use the G Suite. It's the same thing. You just have to point the mail settings for that domain over to whoever your email provider is. Now, if you're going to do, like I do this a lot of times for people, is they'll have 4 different domains and they only want one website. So we just point all the domains and I just create aliases of them. So no matter which one you type in, you land on the main site that you want as your master. And you can also do, once you point the DNS over to the server, you can also set up mail aliases. So you don't have to have all these email accounts. People tend to complicate the shit out of email.
Guilty.
And sometimes there's good reason, but a lot of times there's not. Like Teresa has good reason. She has several things that, for compliance reasons and things, she doesn't want to mix them. And that's no problem. She just needs that fancy tech guy to connect all the dots for her. But most people, they'll get like 5 different email addresses. Now you have 5 places to check email. And to me, that would just be like pulling teeth. It's like, there's no way in hell I'm going to 5 email boxes. One is plenty for me.
I have like 50 or so email addresses, but they all go to one email.
Yeah.
They all point. The idea is I'm able to tell if I gave John Limbacher, John@timgillette.com, and the email comes back from, Joe's Sporting Goods to John. I know John sold my email address.
Yeah. No, there's no problem with that, but that's simple on your side. You only have one email box to check. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I see people that have they're setting up email boxes, literal pop accounts or IMAP accounts all over the place. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, they can all come into your phone or whatever, but it's just like that's a lot of stuff to take care of.
Yeah, I have unlimited with my web server. I have unlimited email addresses. Doesn't mean I have unlimited emails. The addresses all point to one email.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty cool strategy. I've seen a lot of people do that. When they sign up for something, they'll create an email alias. It's basically what that is. It's an alias. Yep. And that way they know anything that comes in, like what Tim said, anything comes from that address, he knows where the source was for that. And you can, you can tell if somebody's selling your stuff, or, you'll never see that in my case. If it's coming from me, it's for me. But there are people out there, like I just this last week, I signed up for a subscription service from this company, and it was for one specific thing. It happened to be for something I wanted the alerts for this crypto service. So I signed up for it. I paid, and oh my God, I have got 50 emails a day from all kinds of ancillary crap trying to sell me shit. And it's like, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to call them up after the call. I'm canceling it. I'm going to tell them, take your shit back. Get me off all of your lists. I'm done.
It's a bunch of hot air.
Yeah. It's just
literally.
You do not treat your customers like that. It's a bad way to do business.
Hey, John.
What company is that, John?
Oh God, I don't even remember the name of it. It's something I saw
Helium.
an ad for it. It looked cool. I watched their webinar.
Oh, okay. It's not Helium though. You're not sending all that back.
It was some guy named Rich playing guitar.
Oh.
No, it was a new thing.
He's being very courageous. And you guys don't know, but he's in pain all the time because of his neck. So even
I know.
more.
That's the best one I could come up with to make it funny. Allie was.
Yeah. Hey, I like Roger's cup. You got to show him again. Take a sip, Roger.
Oh, nice. His cup runneth over.
So, John, if you want, I have, I can screen share a quick demo of how you create email on your host server. I have mine up if you want. I mean, if that's valuable.
Okay.
And I wouldn't go too detailed or too long, just to.
Does anybody want to see that?
Yes,
is this with
please.
cPanel, Roger?
Yep.
No, it's actually built-in tool of the hosting company.
Okay, which hosting company?
This is DreamHost. I know Bluehost also. You can get a cPanel, and I had a cPanel for my prior hosting company, but for this one, I just use their tools. It's cheaper because cPanel increased their 6-month renewal rate by a quadrupling of the fee, and I was like, no new features, just a quadrupling of the fee.
Yeah, I realize that because I've got a couple of cPanel servers and I host hundreds of accounts on there, and it's per account too. So
yeah,
I get a nice chunk of my profit was reduced, so I didn't pass it on to anybody.
So if you want to, probably only take 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and pop it up. I haven't seen the panel for DreamHost, so
yeah. So I'll just let me know that you can see my screen.
Sure can.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, so these are web domains we have, like Auxiliary is the one we use for coaching. This is DreamHost, a hosting company's site. So you can see here under hosting plan, Some of them are on a VPS we lease, and some are parked. Parked means I haven't done anything with it. And then over here under mail, this is how you configure so you buy a domain at a registrar who also offers hosting, and most of them do. GoDaddy, Bluehost, DreamHost, they mostly do. And they'll have a tool, and you can go into, for instance, this case, manage email. And so I go into manage email, and I can choose a domain. Like I decided I might want a rogerb.me as a simpler email, and I can just create a new address. So I can create a new address, and I choose the domain from my domains. Let's create one at Auxiliary. So I can create a test, and I give it all of the information. And let me show you what I have. So this is how you create it. You configure it, and you can forward it just as John was saying down here. So let's actually do that test. Sure, test, 8 characters, foo bar 10. Sure. Dang it. This is the slowest part. Let's see. Foo. Dang it. Foo bar 10. Hopefully it works. Create address. Tell me it's good. Yep. So now I need to see the Auxiliary site and go to the emails there. Now here's Michelle's, Roger's, and my new one called test.
Mm-hmm.
And notice the admin I forwarded to mine. I could forward it to my Gmail or anywhere I want. The important thing to know is that this is at the underlying level. I happen to have installed WordPress on this site, but I didn't have to. Before, I used to have a forum messaging software. You could have any different software on this. It's independent of the software, and you get the email for your domain. And you can forward it to, like John says, just always to one account.
Perfect.
So that's it.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So like probably 90% or more of my customers never want to see that screen.
91. I wish I didn't have to.
They call me up and they say, hey, I need an email. Send me the login. I'm like, no problem. Or I want this forward. I want this one set up. They just DNS records and all the configuration. It just makes people's eyes turn back in their heads. But it's all simple stuff, though. You know, if it's like anything else, if you want to learn it, you can learn it. There's no doubt about it. But the other thing is, like, as business owners and entrepreneurs, it's like the guy. Remember that old TV show where they brought out entertainers like almost as intermission, and the guy was spinning plates? And it's like, you can only get so many plates spinning before they start hitting the floor. So you just want to be careful how much stuff you stack on your plate and how much that you're willing to let go of. And I know letting go of stuff's hard to do. It is really hard to do. Jim's like, no, it's not. But some of us, are, not wanting to admit being control freaks, but we're control freaks, and I think it falls back on responsibility. I know I feel like if something goes wrong, it's my fault. So for me to give up control and let someone else really cause it to be my fault it's hard to do. If you're happy-go-lucky and all that, it's probably easier. I don't know. I'm just not that way. I was taught from a very early age that you're in command of the ship, and if anything goes wrong, it's on you. So,
hey, John, can I offer an insight as to like Michelle and I's experience with plate spinning?
Sure.
Just as a feedback.
Sure.
In the process of thinking of a brand, neither Michelle nor I are thrilled with our coaching business brand name. And you, John L., have screwed it up for us yet again. Because we realized that our name, we could make it recognizable, but we want it to be affiliatable. And by affiliatizing it, it has to be a nice, concise name that third parties could tell fourth parties, and the fourth party would kind of get it and get curious and go seek it out, right? So back to the branding well. So every time we think of a new brand, we all both get super excited right away. So we go and we check, is it available on Twitter? Is it available on Instagram? Is it available on Gmail? Is it available as a domain, right? And then we snag them. And then after we, ruminated on it for several days, then it's not as thrilling. So we think of the next one and we go grab the whole suite of everything, buy the new domain. And so pretty soon we have a zillion Twitters and Instagrams and everything. Because if anyone is unavailable, we throw that brand out.
Yeah. Yeah. So was I helpful or a hindrance in this process?
Well, we're back to the drawing board and trying to think of a new brand.
Oh, okay. Well,
We have
sorry
two
about
products,
that.
one branded we like and one that we're not as thrilled with.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just see it's my job to make everybody really think things through before they get too entrenched.
It's a good thing.
Well, good. I hate to think I'm a hindrance, but sometimes I'm just a pain in the ass. Oh man.
Nah.
Oh, and Roger, I think you were asking on behalf of Michelle, I think a while back, about if it bothers me when people don't show up for appointments. I think, was that you that asked that?
Let's just say both her and I are, like Tim, extremely bothered because we calendar them. And I know
Okay.
you don't. And so
Okay.
you have this,
Well, I got to tell you, I've had in the last 2 weeks, I've had like 10 no-shows. And I can only be for so long. So it was like this last week, I just hit this point. I don't know if it was just, what it was, but I was just like pissed. And I'm like, I should start doing like Matt Browning used to do this. And a lot of the speakers used to do this. They would give out free tickets to come to their events, but you had to put a credit card down. And if you didn't show up, it was $100. It was, I forget what he called it, a no-show fee or something like that. Because
restocking fee.
Yeah, because you want to give them the free thing, but you don't want to get taken advantage of. And I think it was because I had like a bunch of them in a row. I usually try and schedule them all in the same day if I can. I try and keep my schedule like limited on what's available. So that way it doesn't tie me up for like my whole week. I can go do whatever I want to do. But this one particular day, I had a bunch of them back to back, all no shows. And I was thinking, you know what? I specifically just didn't do anything or schedule anything today, and none of these people showed up. I'm like, that's pretty disrespectful of your time. And usually it just goes off me like water off a duck, but maybe that was a bad day for me or something. I don't know.
Can I give you an example of killing me? Jim, go ahead first.
Yeah, just quickly, that it really annoys me too. And I like the idea of, so I give an hour of free consulting, free coaching as my giveaway. And that's a lot of value, a lot of time. And almost always when people don't show, they're not going to be a good client. This morning, I had somebody text me and say, I'm so sorry, I have to reschedule our appointment today. And I kind of got butthurt and went into my mental spiel. But one thing I've learned is to be curious. And so I called and she said, I just found out at 3 a.m. that my half sister has an internal brain bleed and I'm driving to go see her. And instantly, obviously I'm willing to reschedule, and she rescheduled and was respectful. And I think in the future, I'm going to take your idea and say, the first scheduled appointment is free, but if you don't show or need to reschedule and there's not a valid excuse, then I'll charge you $100. It's still a great deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I just think that, and I know how this works. Like when I saw the guys do it, like Matt Brawning, he was in front of people and he had a big hype going on. So it was easy for him to get people to agree to that. On mine, it's like they're landing on my website and they're signing up for the free web evaluation or the free marketing assessment, stuff like that. And I think if I were to charge them there, it would absolutely kill my conversions. So I, as much as I want to do it, I know I'm not going to be able to get away with it.
Right. No, I totally agree. We want something that's not an obligation. It's free. It's super valuable. But once they opt in and then they either schedule automatically, then I'm thinking of just kind of a little caveat at the bottom of the page or in my phone conversation when we schedule.
Yeah. And the other thing that I found too is quite a few of them are new. They saw me speak at the pool conference. And what I didn't realize, I remember I told you guys we had a problem with the QR code thing. Nobody signed up because they just weren't used to that, right? Well, I found the same thing when they were scheduling the appointments. They were expecting me to call them. They didn't, Zoom is like a different world for them. Even though I've got 3 reminder emails that go out with the Zoom link and the instructions. And when I call them, because I started to realize right away, hey, they just don't know Zoom. So I just called them. And every time it was like, oh yeah, I don't know how to get on there. So if I hadn't called them, we wouldn't have gone anywhere. So you really have to know your audience. You really have to communicate in their medium, even if it's not yours. Like I much prefer Zoom calls because we can share screens, we can look at the same thing, and we can be on the same page. And it's so much easier for me to know they know what I'm talking about that way and know there's no miscommunication. Where on a phone call, you're basically just talking in the thin air and, you don't know if they're getting it. You can't see their reaction. It's hard to say. And a lot of people will go along with things not wanting to look dumb. They'll say they get it when they really don't, just so they don't feel like, and I never do this, but I think so many people do that they're conditioned to not want to look foolish and they don't want to feel bad about it. So obviously they don't know me very well if that's what they think I'm going to do to them. But I think that's just, human nature for a lot of people. So they go along, they pretend like they know what you're talking about when they really don't. It's not helpful for anybody. But anyway, another update I wanted to do, because I got 2 of you on here now. I have got Kartra to clear your email there, Tim. And also Janie. I don't know, did they call you, Janie? No? Okay, so they just did it on my word.
Yes, but you're a magician for sure.
So yeah, they just did it. I sent him another email on your behalf and I said, look, she did this by mistake.
Thank you.
She's not going to go through your system and put a support ticket in. If you want to hear it from her, here's her phone number. Please just give her a call or clear this thing. I want this over. So apparently they just cleared it for you.
I knew
sent this-
something great happened because
Yeah.
I got 3 emails from you, which was wonderful because I've been using the same email from a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So anyway, you're clear. Tim's clear. The only one I've still not gotten cleared yet, and I don't know what the deal is Barbara Cunningham. And I sent her an email on it to see if we can get to the bottom of it, because apparently she has some kind of a block in her email. So when she receives email comes through the Kartra system, it doesn't go through. So it shows up as a hard bounce. So she needs to whitelist something in there. So I'm going to work with her. And then at that point, I think I'll have everyone whitelisted in Kartra.
Thank you. Great magic.
John,
Yes.
speaking of Kartra,
Mhm.
last week my computer went weird on me. So I gave it to the local guru and he got it back up. And I am struggling to reset a stupid password for Kartra. It keeps sending me a password that doesn't work. And I just did it again this morning twice. What the
Okay.
heck? What the
Okay.
heck?
I think I got to the bottom of that one too, because I had a lot of people that were telling me they couldn't log into the support. They would put a support ticket in and then they would get an email with the login to support so they could see the responses and all that, and they couldn't get in there. And several people that had the same thing. And I told them, try the incognito, and nothing seemed to work for them. And I got with Kartra and I said, hey, what's the deal? Why is this a problem for some people and not everybody? And they tracked it down and they said that the people that were having issues were blocking cookies.
Hmm?
So if you're blocking their cookies, you're going to have trouble resetting passwords and a lot of that stuff. And probably your login issue is probably the same deal. So based on what they had told me, that would be my first guess. If that's still a problem, if you fix that issue and you're still having a problem, I would just put in a support ticket with them.
All right, so I'm at cookies and data stored, and you're saying go there and it doesn't show block third-party cookies. It shows that's off.
Okay.
And it says allow sites to save and read cookie data recommended. That's on.
Okay.
And preload pages for faster browsing and searching. That's on.
Okay.
So I
It
don't
might be then you might be caching old data, because if you reset the password and it's not working, it might be holding the old password in place.
So clear browsing data.
Yeah, but you want to be careful with that because it might clear stuff you don't
Randy,
want
why
cleared.
don't you share your screen so John can help?
So I would actually put a support ticket in with them and figure out what specifically you need to clear out, because I know I've done that before. I've cleared stuff out and it wipes out a whole bunch of history I did not want wiped out.
Okay.
So just be cautious when you're clearing stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, this is something we use every day.
Yeah, because sometimes you can go in and you can see, okay, here's the Kartra one. I just need to clear that one.
Okay. All right.
You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay.
But yeah, I would do that and put a ticket in with them and make them work for it.
You can try incognito mode as well.
But to put a ticket in, don't you have to be logged in? Because they won't even know who you are. That's the problem. I can't even log in.
So you can't log into your Kartra account at all?
No, because I don't have a password.
Okay.
I'm trying to, so I go in and I go log in and then I say, I don't have a password. You know, basically you say you forgot your password because my old password isn't working. And they send me a password and I plug that in, and sometimes my email self-populates and it comes in with caps like capital A or capital R, capital, you know, P, capital S. Other times my email is lowercase. So I tried using the same password that they sent with both types of emails and it won't let me in. It says invalid login.
Quick idea. One, it is case sensitive. Make sure you're getting that part correct. But
I
the
don't
other
know,
is,
but I don't know what it is. So that's why I've tried both ways.
wait, when you do a password reset, they email you a temporary password, right?
Correct.
So then you cut and paste that directly.
Correct.
Okay. One of the things that happens often when you select a word, which the password would be seen as a word during the process of selecting, is it selects the entire word plus the invisible space bar space right after that word that you don't see. It selects and copies it. And when you paste, it puts the equivalent of a space bar space in after the letters it puts in as you paste it.
So
and
what I've done,
some sites don't trim that and see that as an invalid password because of that invisible space that you don't see when you paste in.
so to get around that, I wrote the password down and typed it in 3 times and I get the same problem, invalid login. That's what's so frustrating about this Kartra thing. And it's not like you can call them up and say, hey, help me get this reset or whatever. And so I'm down I'm down basically. I can't operate.
So I think I see what the problem might be. Which email address are you using?
Well, I'm using Randy at randypowellspeaks.com.
Okay. So you have 2 different Kartra emails.
How did that happen?
You've got rappin54isit@yahoo.com.
As a profile?
That's how you're set up for ACT. So like all of your memberships through my Kartra are with that login. So I just sent you the login details for that email address.
Okay. I'll check.
You might want to check and make sure you know which account is which.
Yeah, because in the past, it's always self-populated, Randy at randypowellspeaks.com. Before this computer went in the shop, that's the only email that came up when you go to log in.
So I see that one as well, but the only thing that you're signed up with that email for in my system is the affiliate program.
Okay.
So
It sounds like your guys that fixed your computer did what John said not to do, which they probably first thing they do is always wipe your history and your cache.
yeah,
And
they
that
might.
wiped out all your direct links. So now, you'll probably have to sign into your Prime and your Netflix and every other thing you had, like saved passwords and algorithms that were connected or whatever you call them, the connections that are saved.
Okay.
That happened to me too when I had my computer fixed and I asked them, and it was a nightmare because I had so many things saved. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Well, try logging in with the one I just sent you. See if that works.
Okay, I will. Thanks.
And then from there, you might be able to get in and put in the support ticket. And if not, shoot me an email. I can send a support ticket through for you. They read mine, that's for sure.
All right, thank you.
Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, John. I got on about 4 minutes late, so I was wondering, is email the suspenseful coming next week, 11 o'clock news thing you did to us last week, or is that something else?
No, we just were kind of hitting a issue some people were having with get email through.
I'm actually one of them because for some reason my ACT login isn't working. I put in a support ticket, haven't heard back from you yet. And because as an affiliate, the access to all the affiliate materials and all the bonus materials is not, there is not an affiliate place. It all is in the bonus area of ACT. I was wondering if that's intentional. Because I mean, as an affiliate, I'm trying to find a place to go to access all the affiliate stuff, but there is an affiliate page, but it just says become affiliate. It doesn't say as an affiliate, here's where you log in and you have an access to this stuff. Maybe I don't understand.
Well, I don't actually have an affiliate login portion. Basically, all the stuff that I have for my affiliates is up on the public affiliate page, like all the swipe files, all that. Inside the ACT program, I have people that are in the resellers like yourself, and I've got a special section for you guys that has a bunch of stuff that I've uploaded into there. So that might be the.
Yeah, I know that, but I can't get into the ACT for some reason. My login information is incorrect now.
Okay,
and I haven't been able to get in.
Which email are you under?
SEO Dominators. SEO Dominators at rp2.me.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, there you are. Okay, I think I see the problem. For some reason, it says it's inactive, so I'll have to reactivate you. That's why you're not getting in.
Yeah, inactive here every week. I get it. Okay.
I'll get that fixed up for you. But that was the issue.
Okay, and my second question is, do you have any sample website? Because I want to do websites for people, and I say, well, do you have any sample websites? And seeing how the only thing and everything that I sell is all yours. I'm just a little John clone over here. Do you have any sample websites of sites I can show them that you guys have done?
Probably only about 400 of them.
Well, that was what I guessed, but I kind of feel like there's a little bit of lawyer-client privilege with you, because a lot of the information is, you give out tons of information, but very little of it's specific, like websites and that sort of stuff.
Not really so much as far as web development. Web development's pretty easy and open. But like for SEO, I don't ever divulge any of my SEO customers or any of that information. And I see web developers putting on the bottom of the pages SEO by and then a company name. And I'm like, that's not cool. If you want to put, who developed the website, that's one thing. But to publicly divulge that you're doing paid SEO on a site that is against the terms of service on Google, and you're publishing that in
I've had that little experience. I've had a little experience with Google in terms of them dropping hammers on things.
Yeah. It's like, why would you wave that big flag? One of my core principles when I used to just teach SEO, just pure and simple, I said there's one principle of SEO: you do not stand in front of a dragon and throw rocks at him, because he's going to get you. And that's kind of what that is. But
even just accidentally stumbling over its tail has the same result.
Exactly. You want to be hidden behind the rock in front of him so he doesn't even know you're there. That's the way to play with a dragon. Or if you wait till he's sleeping and you crawl in his mouth and climb down and see what's in the belly of the beast, that's not pleasant, but another thing that sometimes is required. But yeah, I can get you those. And another thing too, I was going through, I think you had asked about my dental presentation.
It wasn't me, but I would have asked if had given the opportunity.
Okay, well, I found something that I didn't even know that I had. I was looking through some old files the other day, and I found where I did so well at that dental presentation, and it wasn't filmed. So apparently when I got home, I redid the video. I actually did like it wasn't live, it was just me doing it and recording the screen, but I basically redid the whole presentation in a PowerPoint and a voiceover. So it's basically it's my PowerPoint and me doing a voiceover of my presentation. And I found that. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know I had this.
You need to set up a little section someplace where you have all your little jewels in one little spot on those various different presentations, because right now they're in a couple of different places if I am understanding correctly where they are and the few places I've had them. So where are you going to put that? Where are you going to put that one?
Yeah, that one I'll plunk that one back up in the reseller section as well. So, but yeah, it's there's probably more stuff that I've forgotten than I can remember at this point.
That's a cool question, John.
Sure.
By the way, I love your videos, your presentation, your communication style, and everything is unbelievable, man. I saw that Site Pops
Thank you.
And I got in and I watched your other stuff. I was like, I got to find all this guy's stuff. And I thought what you just said about not messing with the dragon, I noticed that your YouTube channel doesn't have a lot of subscribers and a lot of views. And I thought, well, maybe the genius here is that he's trying to keep a low profile. And so maybe that whole concept of like keeping a low profile, like you don't want Google to know about Site Pops, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I thought that's genius there that I'm probably witnessing there as well. Now, my question is this, because you mentioned that dental video in a training video, you're like, I think I got it somewhere. And now you're mentioning again live. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get that. Now I have I have Site Pops, but I'm not sure if I'm a reseller. So do I need to fill out a special form to do that?
Yeah, it's a different program. It's a higher level of basically it's a higher level of the ACT program.
Okay, because I want to sell the ACT program to clients to onboard with you. And you're saying that presentation isn't about selling clients. Is it about selling clients?
It's actually me selling SEO services to clients.
Okay. But is it Site Pops or is it just SEO?
It was just SEO. It was before I even had Site Pop. So
okay.
It was probably in the era of 2010.
Okay. Oh, okay. But it's still really good. Just in terms of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would do too much differently today than I did in that.
Okay, perfect. So to become a reseller, does that cost additional fund? Is there additional cost for that?
Yeah, it's a little bit more. So
okay. And what am I reselling though? Your SEO services, or am I selling?
It's actually anything that I've got is available to resell.
Okay.
But on the other end, you don't really have to be a reseller to resell my stuff. Like you can do it through the affiliate program and all that. In the reseller program, I basically am there to help you learn how to sell, close deals, answer questions related to you running, your business.
Okay. And I didn't want to ask questions that weren't appropriate for this group here, because is there a specific agenda for this call that you do once a week, or is it just
this call is pretty much open to anything?
Okay.
Yeah, this call's SEO, marketing, selling, anything that I have the ability to help you with, I'm here for it.
If you could name one product that you have or service that you have that is, I would say, the easiest to sell, most profitable, least amount of work, that whole thing, what would you say? I mean, because there's a lot of involvement to SEO.
It kind of depends on who you're talking to. Like if you're talking to a market, like I've been working in the pool industry recently, and I've been speaking, to those groups. It's really easy to sell them websites. It's hard to sell SEO services to small businesses, because the problem with small businesses is they are not familiar with advertising. It's not like part of their thing. Like, let's say a plumber, for instance. If you go and you try and sell SEO services to a plumber, this guy is probably bringing in, 80 grand a year. Most of that's going in his pocket. He doesn't have a high level of overhead. He might have a truck and a box of tools, and he doesn't have a high education he's paying off. He's in at a low level, and he's getting by. He's making decent money. But when you come to him and you say, I want you to spend 20% of your annual take to grow your business, he's not going to do it. He's not going to see the value there. But on the other hand, if you take an orthodontist, or somebody that is paying off student loans and paying off hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment and overhead, that's a guy he's got more at stake. He's got to make this work, and he's got to grow it to a certain level, or he's not going to make it. He knows that. So all of a sudden now, spending money to grow the business becomes very important to him. So you've got two totally different people there. They're both considered small businesses, but you can see the difference in what they think they need and why they think they need it.
Got it. So the SEO Site Pops product would be really mainly for people that are doing SEO, but it's like the missing component. And if they're not doing SEO, but they find value in that product, that's when you quickly do the on page and off page, and you can offer that as a service. Do you offer white labeled SEO? No, you recommended Hoth. You recommended the other company. I saw that.
Yeah. Well, we do have white label SEO services. What I recommend, like on the Hoth and some of those others, if you need additional link boosting services, they're good at that. Like Orange Outreach is a good supplier. PosiRank, there's several different companies. What I recommend, if you're looking for off page, if you're looking like for boost services, you want links coming in that bring real traffic. Don't go looking for the garbage links anymore. It's not about the number of links you can get. It's about how many links can you get that actually bring real traffic through, real customers. That's
got it. And that's when you're paying more money and you're
and they're expensive. I mean, to do a real high level SEO program now, it's super expensive because of the cost of every link. You used to be able to buy automated tools and you could get 1,000 links a week just by hitting the button, and that used to work. But when Google went to artificial intelligence and they started looking at the whole pie, now all of a sudden they can say, oh, well, this site's got 10,000 links, but there's no traffic on it. And all of a sudden that smells pretty fishy, right? Because they know an organic site that really has truly 10,000 links that's been built over a decade has a fair amount of traffic going to it.
Right. I know that the Site Pops tool, it's so brilliant that, have you done your testing on whether or not it actually works without on page and off page? Just because, again, what people are typing in, what they're clicking on, it's whatever you said, 130, maybe even more than 1/3 the ranking factor, right?
Yeah.
Have you tested it on, like, how important is it that I evaluate the on page, off page? Is it possible I might not be able to worry about it so much, or is it really, really important?
It's not so much of a worry, really. I will use that as a sales tactic. Like when I'm doing a presentation to a bunch of people and I'm selling it, I'm repackaging it as a different service altogether. Like when I sell SEO to the pool guys, I don't sell it as SEO. I don't go in and say, you need an SEO service. I say you need a boost service. So you qualify if your site's already listed, and if your site's secure and it's mobile friendly and all that stuff. It has to be like that, or I won't even touch it, because I want to guarantee you good results. And now all of a sudden I've done a couple of things. I've taken away the ugly SEO program that they know is expensive and they can't afford and it takes forever. I've removed that off the table, so it's no longer a threat. I've also got them leaning forward that they want this inexpensive service that's going to boost their rank that they already have, that, you know, it's just going to be painless on their part. And I've also got them worried now about, can they qualify? And if they don't qualify, which a lot of them don't, it automatically sets it up to where I'm going to make a sale without making a sale. Because they're going to ask me, well, can you fix my site for me? That's the kind of sale I like. It's like, it's the difference between cold calling and picking up the phone and taking an order. So I position myself to be able to pick up the phone and take an order whenever I can. And that's how I do it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And then in terms of the whether it's listed or not, you said listed or not, you mean just whether they're indexed in Google when you search for them, like a branded search?
Correct.
Or does it have to be just a keyword search where you find them on page 4 or 5?
It could really be anything. I use SEMrush. I can put their site in SEMrush and I can see what they're ranked for. And then I can go back and I show that to them. I get them on a Zoom call and I say, okay, you know, here's what Google thinks of you currently. And here's the keywords. And I ask them, I say, are any of these keywords important to you? And they'll tell me which ones are important. And then we say, okay, well, that one's on page 5. The service that I have can potentially boost that up to page 1 without doing much of anything else, because you're already here. You already have traction. So what I did there was I created a lot of demand and desire for that to happen.
Got it. Okay. And so your reseller course or product or program, right? Do you have specifics in there about selling SEO pops? Or do we have enough as an affiliate, or do we have enough as somebody who just bought the product wants to sell their clients? Is there a lot in there for SEO pops?
There's
site pops, excuse me.
It's mostly a conversation, but I do have like some of those presentations that I've got in there. I've got, you've probably been through one of the presentations where I actually sell site pop to SEO people. So the difference is, when you're selling it to SEO guys, you're selling it as a product. You know, it's something for them to buy and use to make money with or get better results. When you're selling it as a service, as a boost service, they don't even know about site pop. All they know about is the, you know, how the network works. And if they wanted to do this on their own, they'd have to have 500 of their closest friends be willing to do this for them every day.
Right, which is really great. That's so compelling. And I'm sorry if I'm asking so many questions here.
No problem.
Questions. Well, I think that selling site pops, you know, they got to watch that video. You know, either we share your video or we do the video, redo it in our slides and our voice, whatever, or we do it live. What do you think is the most efficient way to sell that? Because, you know, it's a $99 a month or $199, $197 per month product. It's not huge money. So we don't, you know, do you think what do you think the most efficient way to sell that is? I mean, you know, everything from Facebook, Google pay-per-click, or even just email outreach, cold.
Sure, that's actually a great question, and it falls back on the principal. The principal core training that I have is called ACT. It's ACT, and it's basically the way that ad agencies create marketing campaigns. So it doesn't matter what you're selling. The process is always the same. It never varies. And the biggest, most important thing that you're going to do is in the A of ACT. It goes ACT in order. And the A stands for analysis. Understanding who you're selling to, what they want and why they want it is like job number 1. And then the C is creation. Now you're going to create a sales process that matches that. You're going to create messaging that targets right to that specific person. And then the T is traffic. That's on the end of it. Once you've figured out who you're selling to, why they want it, the C part, when you create the marketing campaign, the object there is to grab their attention, knowing what you know about them, create demand and desire, eliminate objections and make an offer. So that's the C portion. And then once you've got that, now you've got the mouse trap. You understand the mouse, you've built the trap, and now you're just going to bring the mice to the trap. That's the traffic. So they all work very tightly woven together. If you change one thing in the process, you're setting yourself up to fail. So to answer the question of how do you best sell it, you have to know who you're selling it to. Like when I'm in a room of pool guys, I know I'm talking to the same person. When I'm in a room of dentists, I know I'm talking to the same person, and they're different people. They have different concerns. They live in a different world. So I need to use their language. You know, like if I'm talking to dentists, I'm not saying the word customer, I'm saying the word patients, because they don't want customers, they want patients. So it's very, very specific, and every little piece of it is engineered highly. The higher you engineer that process, the more you'll convert. So you can't ever think of, you know, a way to sell as one generic thing. It's truly whoever you're talking to. If you're not speaking their language, you're not communicating. And if you're not communicating, you're probably not going to be selling.
Okay. Thanks for that. But sorry, go ahead.
If you communicate well and you engineer the process right, you don't really have to hard sell. Like I never wind up hard selling anybody on anything. Usually when I'm done, when it comes to a point, they're asking me, how do they move forward? Or can you do this for me? Or how soon can we start? And I always try and position the conversation to land there, because I don't like selling. I don't like, you know, feeling like I'm pressuring somebody into something. Not my thing.
No, I got that. And so the fact that you can sell to many categories, that's one thing. And you can have a website that sells to many industries, many categories. But when you're on the phone with them, that's where you're saying, make sure that you know who you're talking to and use the right language.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I have to have a niche.
Or even if you get them into a funnel. Like if they're on your site and you've got, you know, you could serve a lot of different people from one website, but you have to figure out who those segments are and give them different lead magnets to get them into the right funnel.
Got it.
If you try and create one funnel for everyone, it's not that it's not going to work. It's just not going to work very well. And you'll need to send a lot more traffic, which is a lot more expensive to get each conversion.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Because it all comes down to money. Traffic costs money, no matter how you slice it. So if you convert at 1% versus a guy that's converting at 10%, it's going to cost you 10 times more traffic to be his profitability level. That's just expensive. That's where people say ads are expensive. And I'm like, if it's expensive, you're not doing it right.
Right. No, that's great stuff. Appreciate that answer, those answers.
Sure, absolutely. Jim, did you have your hand up there?
Yeah, can you repeat those link building recommendations again?
It's Orange Outreach is one, and Posi Rank is another, and Hoff.
How do you spell Hoff?
Hoth. Hoff is like an owl. That's their logo. He's an angry bird too.
Out of those three, which ones would you recommend from?
Oh, they're all quality. So you might just look, see, get on their list. Sometimes they send out specials. You can take advantage of deals. But what you want, they have, and it's like anything else, they have a whole bunch of different services. And the ones that you're going to be interested in, it's called Outreach Link Building. They still sell all the old crap that doesn't work too. And you don't want to spend money on that stuff. But the Outreach Link Building, that's that it's going to be expensive too. You're going to be
And that's,
paying.
but that's the valid way of doing it.
Yeah, if you're going to build links, that's the way to do it.
It might even be better for me to use the tools that I have for SEO and hire someone to do the outreach and link building.
Yeah. You know what I've seen, and I'm just now getting my team, my SEO team, I'm just now getting them up to speed on the SEO surfer. And the guys that I know that are using that tool, they're getting better results just on page than they've been getting in years with the off page stuff. Because the Surfer SEO tool, it's an AI tool that looks at all the different competitors for any given keyword, and it'll come back and it'll say, based on this keyword, here's your content strategy. You need to have these following pages with this much content, these words repeated this many times.
Wow.
And then you can actually build the site out with your on page that will show the value to Google. And when you do that, you don't only wind up boosting your rank for that keyword, you can wind up ranking for hundreds of keywords. So that is probably the most powerful strategy going right now that I'm aware of. And, you know, again, it's not easy. SEO is not easy like it once was. The only piece of it that is easy is the one that I made easy with SitePop. The other two are, I haven't been able to figure out how to make those easy yet.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the AI tools that are going to get us results in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need. You need to be able to have an effective means of looking at why are they ahead of me and what do I need to do to catch them.
Yeah, I love the site mapping recommendation. Like, you know, these keywords should be for blogs. This should be a page. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that is a really cool tool. If you're going to do deep dive into SEO, that's what you're going to need to do these days. You're going to need to, you know, probably lean on the SEO surfer for your on-page stuff. You're going to need to lean on the outreach link building, your off page, and SitePop for, you know, for the last piece, the final frontier.
Yeah, I'm using Zagio and what is it? The Power Tools.
Yeah, SEO Power Suite.
Yeah, I'm going through the training more extensively, and the tool has a lot more than I thought initially. So. Oh
yeah, and the Zagio, that is like, that's very similar to the Surfer.
Oh, okay.
It'll do a content strategy for you built right into your WordPress site.
Okay, sweet.
So it's pretty cool. If you don't want to spend the money on Surfer, you could lean on that one to do that.
All right, I think I'll take that approach first.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite as powerful as the Surfer, but it'll definitely, you know, put your head and shoulders above the rest.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Hey, John, I think I figured it out. The another angle for getting blocked is the VPN. I turned the VPN off.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I didn't know you had a VPN going.
I didn't know it either until I thought, what the heck is going on here? And I kept looking, and I'm like, maybe this is the problem. But anyhow.
Yeah, we have some people with SitePop that, you know, there's like an unexplained reason, and then Chris gets on with them and kind of troubleshoots it. And a lot of times it's the firewall. Yeah. You know, the firewall has certain blocks in there too, and it that can get you.
Thank you.
So,
John, I have another. I want to know how deep my paranoia needs to run on, because I did that that 14-minute SitePop presentation that I did that I wanted to run ads to, that Google took one look at and said, you're never advertising with us again, go away, you're dead to us. I took that whole stuff down. I even took down the funnel that I had set up for that. is that video best just put in the trash can and not even looked at again? Because if I put it back up someplace, even if it's deep on my site, they'll find it and ding me that way? Or should I avoid putting that kind of stuff up on YouTube? Where do you have a sense as to where that line is? Or because I noticed that you do have your site pop presentations on your website. They're kind of buried down in there, but they are on the web. So therefore Google should be able to find them, but they're, where does that land? Or do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, sometimes like when I do a site pop training, it's usually like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of training. And I wind up putting it on YouTube. I will load it to YouTube and I put it in as unlisted. I don't want it publicly available. So it's unlisted. And then I take the URL and I put that into Kartra in my membership site. So the only people that are seeing that stuff are members. It's not open to the public. Now, that said, yeah, Google can see anything that's anywhere. So your paranoia, as justifiable as it may be, doesn't really help you any. You're not going to hide. But that said, when you look at Google, they've got some pretty big fish to fry out there. And I don't believe for a second that we even show up on the radar as being any kind of an issue. Now, yeah, if you go and you try and use their system to broadcast something to the world through paid ads, yeah, they're going to probably just swat that by default. But they don't have like a team of assassins like hunting you down like that.
Like Facebook does?
It's all algorithmic. When they see a flag, then it triggers actions. But
okay. So the brief one that you redid, that I call it a real clean site pop presentation, that one where we can go in and have it rebranded and that sort of thing, because I've had that done. I'm going to be using that one. But so if I want to redo it and still be able to say ICE and that sort of stuff, I'm a small enough fish. Until I start getting 10,000 hits a day on my website, as you said, I'm not even going to show up on their website. So as long as I keep it low key, I'll probably be okay. They're not going to come hunting for me, right?
No, I don't think so. That's seriously dumb. I mean, there's thousands of SEO websites out there. It's just what they're allowed to do. If you send people to a website, Google has no problem with that. It's just they need to decide whether they want to put you at the top. They have to put somebody at the top for every keyword, though, because there's people searching for SEO services. There's people searching for SEO tools. They have to display organic results or they're dead. So they're not going to just wipe all those off the face of the planet, because then what are they going to put up? They wouldn't have a good user experience. It's everything you got to think. You got to think logically about all of this. You got to put the paranoia aside and say, what's the reality? They're not going to just go out and wipe out an entire category. They can't. Now, that said, they can prevent it from being an advertiser. Absolutely. They don't really want it, but they can't kill it out of organic. But they can kill it out of their paid stuff.
Is that unbranded?
That makes
video
perfect sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, John. Thanks.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I was just wondering, that unbranded video that you just mentioned, is that video available to non-resellers, or do I have to be a reseller?
Yeah, no, I think I've got that I think that's in the Site Pop site under the bonus section. And I'm pretty sure I put that in there. It's like a 2-minute video that I had made on Fiverr. And I put in there the Fiverr guy that you can go through. And I made a special deal with him that if you want to brand that video, he can take that and put your logos on it and change your company name out and he'll do it for like $100 or something. It's either 100 or
Got it.
$150.
Got it. Yeah, I'd be happy to be a case study. I think that SitePop's product is really cool. Like, I think it's great. I'm excited to sell that. And I'm usually not excited to sell anything, right? But that is compelling. And so, like, I mean, I'd be happy to be a case study for the group just to sell it. Is anybody here in the group selling that as a specific product, a standalone product, or are you all just sort of like doing websites and SEO, and that's an ancillary sort of add-on?
I
Just
don't
curious if you
think,
mind
I
me
don't
asking.
think, I don't think anybody on the call right now is doing that, but I've got quite a few people as affiliate resellers that just sell it. Like, what was his name? Dave Martin. And what's the other guy? The guy's
You mean Mike Martin?
Mike Martin and Dave Cesar. They just did a promo on it. They sold it really well. They sold a lot. And the guys, the Offline Shark guys in Hawaii, they just recently did a promo. They did real well. The SEO breakthrough guys in the UK, they've done, several really good promos on it. A lot of people.
Did they find you, or did you find them?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, they're networking.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
usually if I approach somebody, they're going to know who I am, and they're going to, be pretty open to doing that.
Yeah, so the Out of the Box affiliate program, is that just like a percentage discount? Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And do I have to, is there anything special I have to sign up for to get that affiliate tracking link, or is it automatic once I sign up?
No, what you do on that is you go to my website, theinternetdominators.com, and then go down to the footer, and in the footer there's a link that says become an affiliate. And then you sign up for the affiliate program, and then that gives you access to the back end where you can get all your links, and you can see a lot of the stuff in there that we have for sale,
and
including the ACT program.
Yeah, that's how I found out about it, which I got involved with. That's why I'm here, right? This is
cool.
only ACT, right? But the SitePops program, and I've seen you do this presentation, at least for the training, like you did it to a group of like dentists, or you did a group to a number of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people that signed up at the end of the meeting, because I'm sure a lot of people signed up with that presentation, do most of them stick on for months, or years, or what do you usually typically see? Because how do they evaluate?
SitePop, either they drop within 30 days or they stick for a long time. There's a lot of people that buy out of hype, and then they get in, they realize, oh, I'm not going to do this. Some will ask for a refund. Mostly they'll just cancel out before it rebills. But the ones that stick, the ones that use it, they're on for, I've got a lot of people on here from the very beginning that have been with it since it was originally called Rainmaker. I started doing it as Rainmaker in like 2011, 2012, something like that. So this has been around for over a decade, and it's been working for over a decade. There's not very many things in SEO that have worked that long.
Yeah, because I never heard of such a thing that you built. I don't know.
Yeah, we used it. The original rollout I called Rainmaker, and it was only for desktop. It was only for Windows PC, and it worked really, really good up until about probably four and a half years ago. Started declining, and that's when I got together with Chris, and I got his team, his development team, to build me the dream that I'd been dreaming of. And we renamed it. We called it SitePop.
Working on mobile, especially, that made a difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That mobile made a huge difference.
Yeah. It's like 70% of traffic on mobile, or is it more now?
Yeah. It's again, depending on the audience, the age groups, and all of that, but it's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for asking too many questions. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Anything else before we wrap up today? It's interesting. These calls go all different directions. So we haven't talked a lot of SEO in a long time. So that was good. We got our SEO angle in today.
This was like brain overload week.
John, one cherry on the top. Could you, well, I know actually tried using your site building service once, and unfortunately, I think if we did a survey and a poll, we could not have found a worse, more difficult person to work with than the guy that I came up with. And so it all kind of turned into just soup. Could you kind of step through what you do when we hire you? I believe it's $1,000, $500 down, and you build the site. And if I'm going to talk to somebody about a site that you build, how do I talk to them about how you build your sites and what's the benefit of using you and your hosting service as a pair? And could you give us a little bit of a pitch on your building a website for us?
Sure. We build the sites in WordPress because it's so universal, and there's so many different plugins to supply functionality at very low cost. And we do the sites basically for the resellers. We do the sites for 500, and then they can resell them for 1,000, 2,000, whatever they want. We do bundle them with our own hosting because we run hosting servers that are not cPanel. If you know much about servers and all that stuff, cPanel is not optimized for WordPress. WordPress is very, very server intense. It draws a lot of power off the server. And a lot of the hosting companies out there, like Bluehost and GoDaddy and all of those, they give you cheap hosting and they allow you unlimited installs of WordPress. That's just a recipe for a disaster for a server. So you've got internet marketers that'll buy a $5 hosting account and load up 100 instances of WordPress on it. And it's like anyone else on that server just feel sorry for them because it's going to drag that thing to its knees. And, worse yet, they'll put hundreds of customers on that cPanel server and allow them all to do that. So on my servers, I have optimized WordPress servers. They're specifically optimized to serve WordPress. We don't put other applications on them. They're specific to WordPress. And we only put like 25 people on a server. So it's literally 25 WordPress sites per server. That's it. I max it out at that. And that keeps them running fast and efficient. We offer the security certificates with the price. We offer, all the email, everything that they're used to outside of cPanel. 99% of my customers wouldn't want cPanel. They would never log into it anyway. So it would just be a worthless expenditure on my part to provide something that's not going to get used and drag the whole system down at the same time. I do have cPanel servers for anybody that wants that specifically, and I'm happy to put them on there. But, if you're on a WordPress site, it just doesn't do you a lot of good to do that. So, and the other thing too is my developers that I've been working with and training for, the last 10 years, they are trained to build the sites my way with Beaver Builder. So it's really easy when I hand the site off to the client. It's really easy for them to do their own updates and edits without having to go into the back end of WordPress, which that looks like a control panel. People are uncomfortable with that. They don't want to live back there to make edits on their website. They would just as soon pipe that out to a webmaster, which they all want to get away from because of the expense. So here I put the control in their hands. They can log into their website and they can make simple changes themselves very easily in a format they're used to seeing. They're looking at the website and now it's editable. So they really like that. So most people have never had a conversation like that about a website. Most of them is, hey, I'll build your website and then I'll maintain it. I'll charge you X amount a month to do your changes. And they know that if they want to change, they're going to have to contact this person and wait and pay and all that stuff that they don't really care for. Business owners are all about freedom, right? So that sounds like you're tying them up, and they don't like to be tied up. They don't like to be constrained. They like freedom of movement.
Okay, what about the assets required to build the website? Is it best if they say, here's my existing website, here's the login, and I want you to rebuild it for me? Because the specific site I'm looking at is a real estate site. And the original site was built by guys who built it in a way where it would be very, very difficult to do anything on the website unless you came back to them and let them charge you for doing something on the website. And according to SEM Rush, there are a significant number of pages that actually have more coding on the pages than they have content, which tells me it's a real sloppy site. There are zero mobile, that mobile stuff that you're supposed to put on there to make it mobile friendly. His website will obviously show up on a mobile device, but it's not there. It's missing all the the mobile optimization stuff. How do we get you the necessary assets for building a site, or what's the best way to do that? What prep work has to be done?
Well, again, it depends on the situation, but typically what we'll do is we will build a site on a staging server. And the first thing is we provide a mock-up of what the site's going to look like based on our designer. Our designer will take input, they'll create a design. We send that to the client or to the reseller to the client. They approve the look, and then we build the site on a staging server. If it's just an update of their existing site, then what we can do, we can get the WordPress admin login and we can transfer their site to our staging server. And we can work on it there till we get it the way they want it. And then we can go live. But if we don't need to transfer the site, we don't really want to carry all the gobbledygook over to the new thing. So we will build out a fresh framework, move their content individually into the new environment, and go from there. Unless they specifically request their site to be transferred, we usually don't transfer the site.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't transfer. I want that. What I basically would like, the reason that I'm touting this is say, well, look, let's move it to the server. Instead of the $10 a month, we're $40 a month, but there's a reason for that. And because of the security, missing the cPanel, all the stuff that you went over at the beginning. But I want a site that looks just like the site we've got, but I want all the garbage taken out. I want a new platform, a new clean platform, but I want it to look the same. And that shouldn't be a problem then, right? As long as they have access.
Not at all. That's not a problem at all. If they don't want the look of the site to change, we do whatever they want.
I think that covers it, unless there's some other caveats you'd like to add.
I do always make recommendations though. Like a lot of times you'll find that what people want is what they're familiar with and they don't know any better. So like if somebody wanted to transfer their site and keep the look of it, I'm going to give them my opinion on that. I'm going to look at it. And if it looks right, I'm going to say, cool, there's no reason to update the look of the site. If it looks old and clunky, I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to say for the same price, we might as well make this look modern and give them the option. And they'll almost always take my recommendations.
I did.
Well, that was the problem with the last guy, was that he got down into, he wanted specific cropping on specific pictures that he had selected, that he was in love with all the pictures that he'd found because he, worked with somebody and spent months and thousands of dollars getting it to look the way he wanted it. And now I know why he spent months and thousands of dollars, because he was nitpicking stuff that made absolutely no difference. And he was acting as if that made the whole difference as to whether or not the site would even run or be functional or do what he wanted it to do. So the other thing that you have to be careful of with whenever you're taking in a web project, this is really notorious for them to run awry. You have to define what the project is that you're working on.
and have a definite end to that. Otherwise, it can go on forever. And the other thing is, you want to make sure that when they sign off on the look of it, that you keep to that parameter. You say, this is the project, this is what we're building. And because what I've had is, we'll get a site completely done for somebody, and then they have their mom look at it. Their mom says, oh, that doesn't look right, it should be like this. And then you get it like that. And then their brother looks at it and says, oh no, mom wasn't right, it should look like this. And you wind up rebuilding this site a dozen times. That's not included in the price of, of building that site out.
Hey, Richard, I'm going to jump in as a testimonial for John. I had an old site, and I suffered the webmaster thing where you couldn't get anything done. Took months and months and months to get an update, and it just they never did what I asked for or what I wanted. And John took my site, redid the site. Now I'm able to go in and put in content, put in photos, videos. I can mess it up and John can fix it if it doesn't turn out right. And I've had a couple clients go from scratch, and one of them is an upcoming speaker author out in Hawaii. He did her site. And then we had another lady who is she's a speaker, upcoming speaker, and he did her site. And they both look awesome. So they look better than my site. So I've got some more work to do.
Yeah, well, I was thrilled with what John did on the site and the direction we were going, but this guy was doing his equivalent of asking his mother and then his brother and then all that sort of stuff, except it was all him, which made it even worse.
He had too many personalities going on. Tim, we didn't hear that, whatever that comment was.
Oh, my button keeps going on. Well, it sounded like multiple personalities to me right there.
Yeah.
Well, he was the kind of guy that not only, you've heard of people that when you ask them what time it is, they tell you how to build a watch. He would get down into the smelting factors of the various alloys used to build the gears and how you filed the gears correctly. And I said, just want to know what damn time it is. And he was doing that to his website.
and anyone that would listen.
It reminds me of a joke I heard the other day. Richard says, a cable guy in the street asked me the other day what time it was. I said, sometime between 2 and 5.
A better answer to that?
What?
Time for you to get a watch.
Everybody has one nowadays.
I know.
Look.
That's classic. All right.
As always, thank you, John. Thank you very much. Really
Roger,
helpful. Appreciate it.
Speaking of no shows, Roger, by the way, I'm sitting here watching my other screen here. The guy's supposed to be on at 2:30. 17 seconds. He's not here. Another no show for a podcast.
Uh-oh.
Someone who begged me to be on my podcast.
You gotta charge him the no-show fee.
If you need somebody to jump on, I'll fill in for him.
Except for
Yeah.
Go apply. Anybody can apply.
Yeah, John. If you have any no shows, John, feel free to give me a call. I'll be available, make time for you, because I always have things that I can ask you about.
Oh, that's classic.
Take Jeff up on his offer, Timmy.
He's raring to go. Put him on. He's over there going, put me in, coach.
Yep.
No, I've applied. I've done it before. I need to do it again, and I apologize for not applying to come back. But it's a great opportunity. The application process, though, it needs to be rigorously followed.
The application process is set up for a reason, to make sure I don't have no shows.
I'm just too lazy for that. Tim just has to tell me when to show up, and he knows I'll show.
Exactly.
No, I keep trying to get John on my virtual conference because that's a moneymaker. Just get John on and have him talk about Site Pop or Act, and sells it to my audience, and I get a check every month. I love it, John. I got to do more of that.
That's awesome. All right. All right, guys. Well, we will go ahead and wrap her up for today. We'll be back normal, regular time next week. So you have anything between now and then, shoot it over to me and see if we can squash it.
Great call. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Okay, guys, have a great week. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you soon.
Super, John. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.